What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So guys, today I'll be showing you how you can solve the puzzle in the boiler room in Alone in the Dark. Now before you can solve this puzzle, there is a couple of things that you need. First of all, you'll have to find the cellar key, and the cellar key you can find it on the first floor in the drawing room, which is basically the room next to the small parlor. Now to get to this point in the game, you have to complete some other stuff first. I know that the boiler room actually comes in the game pretty early, but you have to continue playing the game before you can actually solve the puzzle. But then when you have the cellar key, you can go to the basement, you can go to the cellar, and then you can finally open this door. Now inside there is a couple of things, but the thing that you're looking for here is a valve, so that we can kind of stop the leak at the boiler, so that we can get in the back room where we can find the first missing plate. Now in the cellar you will also find a switch key. Over here you can use this switch key to kind of turn off the electricity, I think. I don't know what this does exactly, and I also don't know if you have to do this at this point, but I guess you'll have to do it at some point, so you can already do this. It will just turn off the lights, and then there will be a monster in the hallway that you have to kill. But this valve handle, this is what you're looking for to solve the boiler puzzle. So then when you have this, you can return to the boiler, and like I said, you can basically stop this leak so that you can get to the back area, to the back room. Then when you get to the back room, you will first have basically a cutscene. This is part of the story. But then after the cutscene, when everything turns back to normal, on the floor you can find the first broken plate for the boiler puzzle. Then for the second plate, you'll have to go to Cassandra's room. I made a separate video on this, but basically in Cassandra's room you first have this puzzle with the medicine bottles. From this you can get the code for the Zodiac lock, and then inside this cabinet you can find the second broken plate. So then when you have the two pieces, you can return back to the boiler, and then we can finally solve this puzzle. Now the easiest way to solve this puzzle, to be honest, is just to look at the result. So at the end it will just be a landscape. At the bottom you will have like farming ground, something like this, and then on the left you will have a church, and then at the top right you will have the sun, and around it you will just have some clouds. So for the bottom pieces, you're just gonna look for like these pieces of land basically with the diagonal stripes. And then for the bottom left piece in the middle, you'll have to look for a church, which is pretty easy to find because you'll see it's a building and it also has the cross on top of it. Then for the pieces on the bottom, on the left side and the right side, again, just look for the pieces with the diagonal lines. So this will be the farming land kind of. And this will solve the bottom half. So the bottom half, if you do it like this, just looking for the pieces with the diagonal lines that you have, so the land, you can solve this pretty easily. Also, if you know where the church comes, it's also pretty easy to find. The sun stays in this position, so it stays at the top right. The top pieces are pretty easy, so this will just be clouds. And then these two pieces on the sides, you cannot flip them. So you see right now it doesn't work, so they just have to stay where they were. And then the last piece that you just have to fix right now will be the one in the middle on the left. And I just have to turn it 90 degrees, and that's how you fix this puzzle. So like I said, if you see this picture, it's easy to solve. There's no other way to explain it better, I think. So then when you solve this, again, we will have to use the talisman. You need the talisman code, and then you just have to go to the front of the boiler. And over there will be 2 or 3 dials, sorry. So on the largest dial you can see the number 9, then on the middle one it's 7, and on the smallest one it will be 5. So 9, 7, 5 that you have to put in the talisman. So this is, I think, the third time that you have to solve the talisman in this game. So you know that on the right you can always see the code that you're currently putting in. So with the largest circle, just put it on the 9. Then with the middle one, like I said, you have to put it on 7. And then with the smallest one, we're going to put it on 5. And that will solve the talisman, and then it will tell you to go to the cellar. And this is how you continue the story. So guys, that was it. Hope it was helpful. Make sure to like, subscribe, and peace out, you guys.